Hello. Hey, it's Lydia here. Okay, so I'm so glad that you guys are here with me. A couple days ago, I sent out a message and I posted some things saying kind of stay tuned, that there was something exciting I had going on that I wanted to share with you guys. So I will be sharing that in a little bit. But first, I wanted to just say, hope all is well. And aside from that, some of you guys might have seen on kind of the socials that my family and I were just in Tennessee. That was really cool. We were there a couple days. It was awesome. I just celebrated my 40th birthday, so that was yesterday. Now, today is March 20th, and it actually marks the anniversary for me. So, 8 years ago, today was the day that I decided to commit to naturally improving my health and changing my situation. Some of you guys know I have lupus and celiac. I was obese. I had high blood pressure. I was on blood pressure meds, and I was on like 9 different meds at a certain point, and seeing doctors often and struggling and limited in my ability to do certain things. And definitely my mindset was hit in that as well. So today marks 8 years since I, started that journey of transforming my health with that, because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I started like, okay, who are the people that have what I have and have it and were able to help turn things around and get better and improve their health naturally? Like, who are those people? So I started, looking up some things on the computer and started reading things and researching. It's kind of like, if you know somebody who has the thing or has been able to experience something that you are interested in, or that you admire, or that inspires you, like, try to learn from that. That's how I kind of look at it. And so I found that the people that I was kind of bumping into, per se, as I was researching things, were eating in a certain way. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to set out to naturally reduce my inflammation by using food. I'm going to learn to use food as a tool. So that's where it all began. And I remember that next morning after my birthday, so 8 years ago, my family members, like, it was my mom and my aunt, and we went to a restaurant. I think it was somewhere in Baltimore. And we were having breakfast or brunch. And I remember how seriously, I was taking the menu. And they're looking at me, and I know it's kind of something that, oh boy, how long is this going to last? Because I was totally, I've been one of those yo-yo dieters in the past, kind of like, oh, well, let me just do this to lose weight, or, for a special event or something like that. But I don't think they realized how committed I was at the time. And, here we are 8 years later, still on the journey. It doesn't look exactly the same, and that's okay. There's definitely been layers that have been added to it, which I think is good and actually important, right? To keep learning and growing through it. But I'm happy to say it's 8 years later, and I still feel good. And I am so excited about life and the future. And who would have thought, like, honestly, when I was in my lupus symptoms started at an earlier age. But I just remember too, like, with my kids, I was 22, I think, when I had the first, 27 with the second, yeah, something like that. And, how rough it was and how tired I was, and just like sometimes, especially with the extra weight and everything, just going up the damn flight of steps was like a big deal, and getting in and out of the car was painful, and days that I had to get my mom to come help me with the kids because I couldn't get out of bed because my back was stuck, like, just a lot of things, And now, years later, right, you would think, oh, it would just get worse and worse and worse. And honestly, had I not changed anything, I'm pretty sure it would have been much, much worse. I mean, I even had, like I said, high blood pressure, obesity, the pain, all that. But I had my liver enzymes that were getting affected, protein in my urine at time, which means my kidneys were, trying to do their thing here and there. Never got too out of control, thank God, with the kidneys. But, I knew too, right? If you have, for those of you guys, like if you have something like lupus, the kidneys are like one of the organs that a lot of people with lupus tend to struggle with. So then you throw something like high blood pressure on top of that, right? A lot of people who struggle with kidney disease, sometimes it's because of, a history of high blood pressure, chronic high blood pressure, or diabetes, or things like that. So anyway, the path that I was going before I turned things around would have definitely wound me up in Troubleville. And I wasn't trying to go there. Around the time I got the diagnosis about 8 years ago, well, the time that I made the transformation, or began it, 8 years ago, was actually around the time that our son, our oldest son, got officially diagnosed on the autism spectrum. So it was kind of like, there was a lot of internal stories and motivators and kind of things going on, but a diagnosis like that for your child kind of, could really be like, okay, you need to get your shit together. Like, you need to be healthy. You need to have energy. You need to have focus. Like, you need to do things. Also, not to mention the fact that internally, I'm wired. I'm a Pisces, right? I'm wired for like dreams and ambitions and, like all kinds of magical shit. So it's like, who has time? Like, I can't just be on the couch sick and frustrated and in pain and all these things when there's so much going on, right? I need to make sure my kids are good, and I need to make sure that my internal dreams, once I work through all my shit, that I can achieve them one day. I need to make sure that I can help, my family do their things, and all these things that kind of come up. I want to help people, all this stuff, so I'm just glad and excited to be able to say that, making the lifestyle change was a game changer, life-changing. It was awesome. I don't regret any bit of it. I've met so many amazing people along the way. It's been fun. Definitely, of course, in the beginning, it definitely had its tough periods, and, growing, especially when you, grow, layer, grow, can be tough at times in different ways. But ultimately, it's fun and it's good, and I'm grateful for it. With that, though, can I tell you guys, so you guys know, right, I became a health coach after a couple years into my journey, because I was like, oh shit, like people really, really need to know, that the food can be so helpful, and the stress management can be so helpful, and the exercise, and the mindset, the way that you think, and all these things, like the holistic approach, right, that it can be all so helpful. So I've been coaching. I've coached some women along the way. I work as an outpatient nurse in mental health. I provide psychoeducation with my patients, stress management, all that stuff, So I get to do all those different things, which is really good. So I get that interaction. But I've never created something that was like kind of something that someone could take and actually use to kind of, navigate some of the things on their own, in their own pace, in a sense, right? So you know how online courses are a thing, and I was always kind of intimidated by it because it seemed a little bit overwhelming, but I had to do some self-talk on myself, right? Just like anything else. Anything else that you try that's new and different, you have to kind of work through it. Guys, my first course, Lively Living with Lupus. Holy shit. So, honestly, like when I first started the journey, I feel like, the lupus community, at times when I've been to, I remember one time going to a support group, and I went, and this woman next to me, I was in a bad place, and the woman next to me was like, well, you might as well get used to it, because that's the way it's going to be. And something internally in me was like, oh, no, this is not the way my story ends. No. So I just, I remember like hearing that. I remember having my head down, and I think I might have even shed a tear, because but then it was still that internal like fire, that flame was kind of building up. Like, no, I can't let this be it. And I have to say this too, my mom. So my mom has HIV. My dad passed from AIDS in 93, and my mom is still here and she's doing amazing and all that. So of course, seeing that fighter, seeing that kind of resourcefulness and drive and, you know, all those things, I'm sure that's all up in here as well. So there's many different things that kind of led me here. But I'm so excited that I've created something that can help you. So if you are living with lupus or know someone living with lupus, definitely want to have them check this out. But it'll be coming soon. It's not out just yet, but Lively Living with Lupus is something that I've created, and I'm so excited about it, and I think it's going to be so helpful for so many people. So I'm going to share some things about it with you guys right now. So it's Lively Living with Lupus Transformation, Tools, Strategies, and Resources. And it is going to be a course that's online, so it's all digital. You're going to get an ebook with 6 powerful tips for improving your health while living with lupus, an audio version of that also. And then I'm going to go deeper into making the connections between how I was able to get off my meds. Like I said, I was on about 9 meds. How I was able to get off my meds by using those tips and strategies and tools. In the course, you're also going to get weekly homework assignments that are going to help you take action on the goals that are in there. Again, these tips and tools I found to be very, very helpful on my journey. So you're going to get to go a little deeper into them on your own and start taking some action, because we all have a lot of, you know, thoughts and ideas and maybe things that speak to us, but then it's sometimes getting a little bit more clarity, a little bit more resources, and then finally taking action. In addition to the homework, you're also going to get a bonus, which I'm so excited of, which is a vision board of healing video. Create your own vision board. So if you can see behind me, see that? Right there is a vision board of health. I created that a while ago, and pretty much a lot of that stuff is come to. Again, vision boards are not magic, but if you're a visual kind of person, I'm a visual person, that inspiration, that kind of internal, it kind of becomes like an internal guide. You put it somewhere where you can see it every day, and just another way to kind of reinforce and guide you along. But anyway, there'll be more details on that in the course. So, what are you guys thinking? Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm excited because I feel like, you know, Lively Living with Lupus, I know we all want a cure, right? We want a cure for all the things. I know it. I get it, you know, but we don't have that yet. So it's kind of like with what we have now, what can we do to help transform, you know, the best we can? And I know, and again, I said I have a child on the spectrum. So I know that there's a spectrum, right? And so even with lupus, that there's all different severities that people may have. So I get that. And I know that this may not be the thing for every single person. And of course, always make adjustments with the blessing of your doctor. When I say I was able to come off my meds, I had my team, you know, that I had to navigate through and work with. And I go into that into the course too, in the advocate and assert section. So there'll be some details on how to navigate that as well. So, want to know some of the things you're going to learn? Okay, so how to better cope with stress, because guess what? You already know it. Stress is what? Yeah, it's everywhere. And if you have lupus, it's a what? Trigger, exactly. It's a flare. You know, it's a trigger that can basically lead to a flare. And with lupus, you want to minimize your flares. We're also, like I said, going to go into foods that promote healing, how to advocate for yourself, the importance of healthy boundaries, how to, you know, promote healing and set the boundaries. and how, healing, shaking your ass really can be. I had to throw something in there that was a little bit more fun too, because I believe that the transformation healing definitely, it has to be fun. You have to make it fun, whether it's exercise, whether it's food, stress management, whatever it is. You have to make it so that you have the buy-in. It's something that you want to do. When it's something that, oh, well, they're telling me that I have to work out in a gym on a treadmill, or they're telling me that I have to eat this broccoli or whatever. Yeah, okay, like how long is that going to last? How sustainable is that going to be? You have to buy in a little bit to your why and then make it fun. And you're going to also learn why it's important to make yourself a priority. And I know, right, most people with lupus tend to be women. And we know that women have a hard time sometimes making themselves a priority. So there's definitely some of that in here, as well as self-care promotion and homework in that space. Like I said, there were 6 specific tips that we're going to, and going deeper into some of them, that you'll get a homework assignment for each. So that was just a couple that I mentioned. So anyway, I'm so excited. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions about it. There is a way to, get into this soon. I definitely, of course, you'll be seeing it coming out on our lupus season, right? Lupus Awareness Month is coming up in May, but there's an opportunity to get into this earlier that I will be sharing more details with. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that this is something that will be helpful, or if you think that this is something that you're interested in, or you're curious to learn more. If you have any questions about anything I said in here, let me know. Please feel free to message me. You can message me, reply to this, if this is for social media, or you can email me at lromerojohnson@gmail.com. Okay, so excited. I know, can you believe it? All right, guys, so that's it. Thank you. Bye.